All right, we're rolling, man. E85 Conversion number 1.
It is July 25th, 2008. We're performing our first ethanol conversion to a 3100 SFI V6 Buick Century.
So what we're doing here, basically, we've got to get that air plenum on the intake out of the way, because the injectors on this particular vehicle are actually down in there under the intake plenum. You can see the fuel rail running underneath there. I've disconnected the wiring harness there. That's all the wires that goes into the injectors. Pull back some of the wiring and that. There's some brackets, looks like, for the alternator and stuff. I don't know how you can see those, but yeah, I took the nut off of that one. That are on top of that are going to have to come off. So a little bit more complicated when you can't quite readily get at the injectors. There's the throttle is all in here down this side, so we're going to have to disconnect probably throttle cables coming up, some other things, to be able to get that whole plenum. Jeff, point to that plenum on the top in there. Yeah, that whole piece there's got to come off to get underneath.
Down here, those gaskets have to be replaced.
So that's what we're working on right now. And trying to find the right tools to do the job in somebody else's toolbox, so that doesn't always help either. So there we go. Okay, after about 2 hours of us backyard mechanics messing around with this, we finally have got that whole intake plenum loose. You can see there. We didn't get it all the way off, actually, because of some lines we just didn't want to take off. So we've got it propped up. See, we've got a board kind of in there, but we stuffed some paper toweling, some rags down in the intake so we wouldn't get any dirt down in there. And now you can see we actually disconnected one of the injectors, and right here you can see a wire that we took off from right down in here on the first injector, and that's what it looks like in the end there. And let's zoom in a little more. And then we fed the wires from the kit, FFI kit, in, and there's 3 for each bank. I only got 1 of them in there. As you can see, it's the same type of connector, a male and a female. So this one is going to go on the injector. This one's going to plug into where we removed the wiring harness from the original wiring harness from the vehicle, from the top of the injector, and plug it in. So it basically just splices in there. And the biggest part of this job on this car was just getting at that wiring. So I'm going to pause for a minute here again while we make some steps.
Checking the polarity. It should be on the left side of the injector clip, located in this orientation. It's also the red wire, and verified with the wiring diagram of the car that is what we're looking for. We have the ignition turned to the on position, 12.05. That's what we're looking for. And that is standard polarity, so we're good there.
Okay, so now that we verified the polarity, we are going to try and get the camera set up a little better here, and we're going to actually plug in the kit.
And I think Mike had the plug of this part too.
One injector at a time, and we got our wires coming in. You turn that ignition off for me. And I'm gonna unplug this whole harness here again, so that the wires aren't all tangled up. And so it really doesn't matter which one. We got a 6-cylinder here, so on this harness I got 3.
What's that third wire for?
Well, in one of these, one of these, there's actually 3 wires going in, and 2 of them are on the same terminal in there, obviously, because there's only 2 terminals on the inside of the plug. And by looking at the book, we see that there's one wire that looks like it connects back around to the negative side of the system for some reason. We're really not sure what's going on with that, but so this is what came off the injector, and so I'm going to plug in the harness to that, make sure that it's good and tight, and this one is going on that injector. Give it a little tug, make sure it's on there, and indeed it is. And we'll move on to the next one here.
Running the wire through, neatly tying it into place. After hooking the grounding wire up, and we're to that point now where we're about to mount the FFI Platinum.
We chose to use some dual lock product.
It's by 3M, medium duty.
I like Velcro, only better. I'm just going to put it right on the back of the box.
It really doesn't fail.
I'm going to stick it on here.
On top of one of the other covers. Oh, this is a day I've waited for about 5 years. Wires come out underneath behind. Unplug it.
All right, well, we're back from the test drive, and everything